Okay, hi guys. Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to another podcast on the Peak Performance Podcast. I'm joined by a special guest, someone I've known for a long time now. He's a top guy. More importantly, he's a great athlete and a great coach. I'm looking forward to you guys meeting him and learning a lot more about his revelations of being in the industry for a long time now. It's Josh Evans. Josh, how you doing? You okay?
Hey, how are you doing, James? Thank you for having me. With the guys you've had on as well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Forward to having you on, asking you some questions regarding your journey in your own bodybuilding journey, and also as a coach, high-level coach, and getting some top quality results. I'm going to ask you some few questions, and for anyone listening in, guys, if you've got any questions for Josh, please do leave them in the comment section down below. If you're watching this on replay, let us know where you're watching from as well. Without further ado, Josh, tell us, for everyone listening in, who is Josh Evans? Where is he from? What does he do? Tell us more about you and your story, your background.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for the nice introduction, James. I wouldn't go as far as saying good athlete, but we're getting there. I'm Josh Evans. I'm based in Swansea, so I'm a Welsh boy. And even though COVID hit the hard, I actually remembered the other day that I am 26 now and I'm not a child anymore. So, yeah, I'm 26. I've been in and around the industry for nearly 10 years now. So, most of that was just doing being on part of my own journey, working in like higher level rugby backgrounds as well, and then working with friends and family as well on the gym floor and in the dieting space as well. That's pretty much it. And then formally, I was working towards a law career. I graduated from Swansea University in 2019, just before the pandemic hit. And during my second year of my degree, I kind of caught the bug for being part of the fitness industry. And in what I did, I was working with athletics coaches because I had a background in sprinting, and I was working with S&C coaches as well. And I just saw there was a bit more, there was a much larger thing, I can't think of the word of it, but there was a lot more of an intricacy in terms of programming if you wanted to get to that next level. And it was when I started working with my own coach, when I was dieting down for the first time, that I realized that it wasn't a case of having a PT on the gym floor once or twice a week, because I never really saw how that would be beneficial. So from there, I actually went and completed my level 2 and 3, and then moved on to do my level 4 certs with Future Fit. And from there, I got to help friends and family once more, and I started moving into the industry. And it was just something that kind of caught on to me, being able to help people more than anything, because I found that's what gave me the most fulfillment.
Yeah.
And then once I finished my undergrad degree, then I actually went full-time working online. I was working on the gym floor as well, which I enjoyed, but we had the pandemic then.
Gotcha. So I guess just first, before I dive into what you do and the online side of things and the great results you do for people, you mentioned obviously you in the rugby side of things, and ultimately sort of transferred and sort of moved into sort of bodybuilding. What brought that all upon your passion for bodybuilding and taking your sort of physique to the next level?
It's a funny story because I'll always remember I was on holiday with my mother and my brothers about 2 or 3 years prior to that. And at the time I was training, you'd probably know from your own background as well, that when you do an S&C program, it can be quite tedious because it's the same thing in terms of applicable movements, but progressed over time.
Yeah.
And I remember I was walked into a Gold's Gym in America, and I saw guys in there who were in alien type shape, because I hadn't seen anything like that before, because I was training out of a small gym in the area at the time.
Yeah.
So I hadn't seen anything near that level. And I just thought, that bodybuilding lifestyle isn't for me. Because I just thought the discipline wasn't for me. The food wasn't for me because I like my food. And when I got back from my holiday,
Yeah.
and I started training a bit more, with a bit more intensity and a bit more structure with S&C coaches, with the college, university, and you could call it semi-pro level rugby. I could see where that discipline took you to another level,
Yeah.
and I started seeing fast-tracked results by sticking to that discipline. And it gets not addicting, but I'm a guy who likes momentum.
Yeah.
So once you see results once, you want to get them the second time and the third time, and you want to build that momentum. And all of a sudden, it wasn't a case of me getting into bodybuilding. It was a case of me just wanting to see more results. and being that 1% better. And that kind of rolled over to every facet of my life.
Nice. Amazing. So you took that sort of level of discipline in all walks of life, and that was the new standard of addictive, like chasing progress and being progressive at heart and everything.
Yeah,
I guess that naturally comes on to you. Obviously, you were PTing, and then you saw the gulfing difference between what you do now as online. For you personally, separating the two things, in-person training and online coaching, how do you see both worlds now, and ultimately delivering a pioneer result that you ultimately provide your clients? Is the online far more valuable in your opinion now?
I'm a guy who likes data and I like metrics. I like overseeing things from a bird's eye view.
Yeah.
So that's where I see the value as being like an online coach, because I like being involved with things outside of the gym as well. That doesn't mean I know a lot of top level guys who still do hybrids
Yeah.
business approaches and work on the gym floor as well.
Mm.
And part of me still likes doing that as well, especially when you get higher caliber athletes. For example, I don't work with many,
Mm.
but I know you see. I see so many guys out there at the moment working with high caliber athletes. I
Yeah.
mean, professional athletes in certain spaces,
Sure.
and you get that bird's eye view with the data metrics, but then you're hands on with their performance during
Mm.
the training sessions as well.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think there has to be a mastery of being on the gym floor first of all before transitioning to the online space,
Yeah.
because you've got to be able to build that rapport with any individual that walks in front of you.
Yeah. I think that's the great thing about you as well. Similar to, obviously, we share similar backgrounds from a performance side of things in sport. And with your online coaching, it's not just recomposition, it's not just bodybuilding. You're also looking at the sort of finer performance side of things, movement patterns, biomechanics, also health markers on a deeper level, which is becoming even more valuable and needed in the Gen Pop industry, shall we say, that you're helping, which ultimately gives you such an edge onto essentially the generic online coach due to your experience, your background, your qualifications, and just playing rugby at a very, very high level as well, I'd imagine. Is that testament to ultimately your level of programming and your approach, would you say?
Again, I think part of it comes from my obsession with not just wanting to be like a best at anything, but I've always wanted to have like a standout attribute in something that I do, for example.
Yeah.
And I was extremely fortunate that when I first started uploading videos to Instagram before I was a trainer, I did get called out for having really bad form, for example. And from that moment on, I thought, you know what? Yeah, it does look, pretty bad. So I got held accountable pretty early, and I think that's something that we all need to do. And I didn't take it personally, but we got to take it professionally. So in doing so, I moved down to a gym based in the city centre,
Mm.
where there was some well-known athletes on the amateur, semi-pro, and professional level from
Yeah.
multiple disciplines, whether that was martial arts based. You had one or two IFBB pro bodybuilders,
Yeah.
and then guys competing on the national level as well. So I met a good number of people, and a lot of them I call friends now, who held me to that higher standard. And I don't think without that exposure I would have been able to move to that next level.
I think that's a really important thing for anyone listening, investing in a coach like Josh, is the growth mindset that you hear that's coming out of his mouth right now is more so being exposed to new environments. And because he's got a growth mindset, he's forcing himself to learn, adapt, and grow. And there's a lot of people that get stuck in their own ways, got a fixed mindset that would probably have taken that constructive criticism the wrong way and not decided to grow. And you were the other way, where you're like, okay, teach me, learn, let's go, let's move. That's ultimately made you a better man, maturer man, and ultimately a better leader, which is, hats off to you, is what you want ultimately in a coach, is someone who takes ownership, takes accountability of his own actions, and ultimately wants progressive growth in all aspects. So kudos to you there and what you're doing there. Great mindset. And obviously I know that because you and I have been working together a lot in our second business, and hats off to you and how you're developing and growing and changing a lot of people's lives. So I guess what I'd be intrigued, and I'm sure other people would really see value in you, is obviously you've been doing this for such a long time. You've got a lot of experience now. For those who are looking to get that result that you provide, okay, people who are sitting on the fence, not ready to invest in themselves quite yet, who want to get that peak performance both physically and mentally that you bring home, what would you say the top 3 tips or revelations or bits of advice you have for these people that are wanting to achieve that result? What would you be telling them?
Narrowing it down to three is quite tough because I will waffle on about it, but ultimately, I do have like a lot of experience personally and with friends and family, because obviously they're the they're the guys who kind of got me into the space,
Yeah.
unintentionally as well. And I've seen people with mental health disorders. I've had my own issues myself. I've seen friends and family with eating disorders, etc. So I can understand and empathize with people, and I know when it goes beyond my scope of practice. So if somebody has an eating disorder, for example, although I'm qualified to help individuals at a certain degree with those issues, it's not something I could advise personally, because I don't think I'd be right there. But there are a lot of professionals who deal with just those issues.
Yeah.
But if I had to narrow it down to three, is firstly, it would be, you've got to ask yourself what the goal really is. And this is something that you really pushed to me before I started working with you. It would be, 2 years coming up to November time now. And you didn't just say, oh, well, what does the income goal look like, or what does the business goal look like? It's, why do you want to do that? And obviously, I think I mentioned to you, it was helping my family and being able to onboard family and look after them in the near future as well.
Love it.
So, but you got to keep pushing for that answer. So obviously, if I've had, and we've all had it as well. It's like guys will come to me or come to yourself and they say, I just want to lose a couple of pounds. But then it's so easy to get sidetracked from that,
Yes.
because what does 5 pounds of weight look like? Does that mean they can fit a pair of suit trousers? Obviously, you work with individuals who are high performing executives, and primarily in like the property space, and other CEOs as well. Is it being able to have business lunches, for example, and not worry about poor brain fog as a result of their poor food choices?
Gotcha.
It's little things like that. So that'd be the main one.
So you're saying number one is creating roadmaps and ultimately running individuals like a business, creating ultimately a point A, point B, and ultimately drawing out those roadmaps as opposed to take it by chance and lottery. You're actually creating infrastructure roadmap where you've got clarity. The consumer has mental clarity on exactly what they need to do, how they need to show up every single day to get a guaranteed outcome moving forward.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
take the probability and chance out of the equation.
Definitely. And I think having an emotional attachment to the goal and something you can visualize so clearly is ideal. But at the same time, I think your decision making, and like I know you talk about your KPIs, for example, as well, and your non-negotiables each day, having somebody in your corner, like a coach or somebody that can hold you accountable, to remove that emotional attachment away from what you do each day, that's crucial. So obviously, if you had like a 5-point checklist that you would had to do each day, that could be the number of steps you do, the exercise you do, the food you eat, etc. It's something that is so off-putting for some people, like because it's such a dramatic change.
I think a big one that you're drawing upon there in the weeds there is that you've mentioned a few times that how empathetic you are in understanding you are of people, and actually investing in someone like you that's going to take the time to make them feel understood and welcome, and also guide them through and mentor, as opposed to a pass over of information. You're helping them implement better to get these results, and that ultimately comes down to you as a personnel, which obviously you've got in your locker. So much so is that empathy, and also when you need to be firm, when you need to be as well.
Yeah, and again, I think I took a lot of that from learning from you as well, as when we have our calls every week, bi-weekly as well, for example, is that you need to know what language and what tonality to use with individuals. Some people like a kick up the arse, for example, and then some needs just reassurance.
Exactly. I think that's a really good point. Man management is knowing how to get the best out of different individuals, like you say. How we speak to one person may be different how we speak to the other person to get the best out of them. So absolutely, fantastic. Some really, really good points here. And for guys, if anyone's interested in Josh and the great work he does, please go check him out. Is it mainly Instagram, Josh, that you're?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, mainly Instagram.
Where can they find you? What's your handle, by the way?
So I'm just at Josh Evans Coach.
Fantastic. Guys, go give him a follow, go check him out. Some really good content going on there, and also some good behind the scenes of what your own bodybuilding journey as well. You do a lot on there as well with that as well, don't you, Josh? Am I right in saying?
Yeah, and I mean, I had a revelation in myself like over the last couple of months, where I thought to myself, business had stagnated, and I'll always remember I read it from a previous mentor, for example, from a couple of years ago, and I know you mentioned it as a lot as well. Is that if I want to provide a service, I need to prove that it works, and I need to speak the benefits to my audience with conviction. And because I was kind of being 80% 80% committed to what I was doing, whether it was fat loss
Yeah.
or building muscle, it was just a case of, hang on now, 8 to 10 weeks down the line into a fat loss phase, I hadn't really lost too much because
Yeah.
I wasn't giving it that level of
Yeah.
detail and that level of commitment that I needed to do and what I did expect others to do if they were working with me.
Yeah.
And couple that with a few issues outside of my control as well, it was just pretty quiet. So I held that commitment and I held that promise to myself that for the rest of this year now, I'd be documenting my own journey and leading by example over the coming months.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Guys, for anyone that's interested in having a proper coach in your corner, like full testament to Josh, he's fantastic, top guy. Most important, I think that's the biggest thing, is whether you connect someone and vibe someone. Josh is honestly one of the best guys, most genuine guys going as well as obviously being a great athlete and coach himself. But definitely go check him out. It will definitely add value to you guys moving forward, 100%. Josh, quickly before we sort of sign this off and everything else, what are your bigger visions now? Where are you going? What does the next 2, 3, 4 years look like on your brand, your mission, what you're trying to do?
So I want to get back into the local area, for example, because there are a number of great personal trainers, there are a number of great coaches in my area as well. And while people say the online coaching space is saturated, I just think that goes to show that the demand for people wanting to get to that next level is far greater than it used to be. And it's online coaching in particular is not the gimmick that it used to be. Whereas you had, a huge demand for coaching at one time, people were still quite skeptical about it, as people were when any online service first launched. But I think all of a sudden now it's almost become the norm. And the health and fitness industry is only growing while health-related diseases and issues around the globe are growing as well. So there's always going to be that opportunity there. So to be able to do that at a local level and become a more prominent figure in my area, that'd be a huge plus.
Love it. I love it.
Because I grew up with so many of these people as well, and just being able to connect with them on a personal level and then deliver that result is the ultimate fulfillment for me. And then 2 or 3 years down the line, moving things forward, I'd like to get onto the global stage. So that'd be, we got guys in the group with us at the moment, like Aaron, who is smashing it with his followers growth, for example. But being able to get into like the American market, for example, and work with high caliber guys, potentially work with high level athletes, something that excites me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing you continue to grow. I think the big thing I've seen from you is how you've grown as a man, as a leader, and how much more conviction you've got, which we always knew was there. And now that you're becoming such a great leader and a great man and a good role model and inspiration for people. So, guys, go and check out Josh. If you've got any questions for me or Josh, please do let us know. If you want to hear a little bit more insight in Josh's story and getting him back on the pod, let us know as well. But that's been the session today, guys. Just a quick short one. Josh very busy, so we'll leave it there. See you in the next one, guys. We'll see you later. Cheers. Bye bye.